Hello everyone, this is Will with My Spiritual Clarity. Today's video is about putting my picture on my website makes me terrified. So I had someone say this to me recently and I thought I should address it in a specific video. So if you're a healer or a coach or a therapist, and you just the idea of you being on your website in a photo or on social media, if you never post your own video, your own face or image, if that terrifies you, this video is for you. Now, there are some people that have very consciously decided that they don't want their face associated with their brand. That's fine. For healers and coaches and therapists, I would say that that's nobody. I would say that it's really coming out of a fear, a legitimate fear, a valid fear, and limiting beliefs that are forcing that decision. Now, for a lot of entrepreneurs that choose to not have their personage associated with their brand, for a lot of them, it's actually a personal choice. They've actually really thought it out. They worked with a business coach or just on their own, and they figured that out, and they made a conscious decision. For healers and coaches and therapists who are on the artist's path instead of the entrepreneur's path, if you're terrified of putting up your image, or if you just refuse to, it's almost guaranteed it's because of a fear of being seen, a fear of being visible, the belief that if you put yourself out there fully, if you are fully seen, then you'll be attacked. Either you'll be judged verbally, you'll be attacked emotionally or spiritually, or physically, that someone might, and this sounds crazy, but I definitely had this at one point in my career, the fear that someone's going to come to my, like if I post something that they really disagree with, that they're somehow going to find me and come to my house and drag me out of the house, or God forbid, do something to my family. It sounds irrational and crazy, but it's not necessarily, because we have past lives where this has happened, literally happened to us or to our family, or we see it happening in the world, to people in other countries, or potentially in your own neighborhood. I don't know where in the world you are or in what country you're in. So these are not invalid or unjustified fears. They're real fears. So what do you do if you're a healer or a coach or a therapist, and you want to put up your image? You know it would be good. You know that you should be represented somewhere on your website or in your social media. You see how much, or I've seen how much more engagement posts that have my picture on them get. It's night and day, and I didn't want to admit it, but I have to see that's true after all the posts that I've made. So let's say you want to put up your photo, but you can't. You're terrified, you're frozen. Well, what can you do? First is a caveat, of course, to be responsible. If you are posting things that could get you in trouble, seek legal advice, or think really intelligently about, if you're in a part of the world where it's literally dangerous. That's a very different choice to make. I'm guessing from most people that are watching this video that that's not you, that you actually live in a pretty safe part of the world or the country that you live in, and we're talking about emotional, spiritual fears, not physical. So that's my caveat to start. So what can you do energetically? Well, there's so many things, but the biggest thing that I'll give you, and this is straight out of my guide, the Guide to Expansion, so 6 steps for healers and coaches to expand. It covers the 6 fears that come up. And this is a big one. It's about using boundaries or using awareness. So boundaries are things like putting a sign on the door that says, "Do not disturb." Boundaries is getting a restraining order. Very good boundary. If you think that you need that kind of boundary in your life, I am all for that kind of boundary. So those are very physical boundaries. Telling someone, "Don't speak to me that way." That's a physical boundary. And these are all valid boundaries. However, there's a difference between doing boundaries and becoming boundaries, which I speak about in other videos. So the energy shift that you can make when it comes to putting your image up on your website or your social media is catching the energetic wave of, or vibe of, oh, I'm not putting up my image because to make a boundary. Because if I'm not there, it's a boundary to keep me safe. Just like if I don't leave the house, that's a boundary to keep me safe. But if you're only using boundaries and you're not tapping into a deeper energetic awareness, then you're losing out in a big way. Because sometimes something could seem very unsafe, you know, going up to ask out that person that you really want to ask out, but your entire body is telling you don't do it. You're terrified. I remember this when I first met my wife and asked her on a first date. My entire body wanted to shut down and run away. I just was just terrified. I'd been rejected many times the previous year. I wasn't ready for another rejection, and I was, in a lot of ways, I was terrified. But I had this awareness. I knew in my heart, in my gut, in my soul, in the energetic, tingly sensation in the air around me, I knew that this was the right path. So you could be experiencing something similar when it comes to putting your photo on your website or on social media. You could know that, like, I emotionally, physically, I don't want to do this, but I know that it's the next thing. I know that it's part of my path or step, or I think it might be, and I want to do a test to try it out. So you have to get the difference between doing boundaries or tapping into your energetic awareness. So if you'd like more on that, please comment below. I'll get you the guide, the 6-step guide to expansion, and watch more of my videos. I have a whole video, I've got a number of videos about stop doing boundaries, instead become boundaries. And that is a much longer process. It's not as simple as putting up a sign on your door. It's not as simple as just not putting up your photo on your website. It's deeper. You got to look at your beliefs, your energetic invitations, what you're inviting into the world energetically. You've got to look at all that stuff and kind of dismantle it piece by piece. The difference is it's not tiring. Doing boundaries is exhausting. Being boundaries is not exhausting. It's more nuanced. It's more nuanced. That's the best way I can say it. So if you'd like that guide, please do comment below, and please do comment below if you like this video, like and subscribe, and I will see you for more soon. Bye-bye for now.